why God chose to invoke the principle of suffering. Suffering was discovered by Buddha. So the question arises, why is it that suffering is? There has to be a basis, there has to be a reason. And Dr. Mehta is the only spiritual master from whom I heard and learned that God is suffering. Almost every other spiritual teacher I went to, they talk about God as Sat Chit Anand, perfect bliss. He is that too, but He is also suffering. So the question is, why is God suffering? Now, even logically, we can say that, well, if we accept the principle that God is everywhere and is in everything, and everyone and everything is experiencing suffering, so then His suffering should be the sum total of everybody's suffering, because He is everywhere and in everything, and His joy should also be the sum total of everybody's joy. But that does not explain the basis of suffering. Why is everybody suffering, including God? So we will try to explain the basis of suffering. Now, one of the things that we all have is a free will. We can use that will to do whatever we want. And most of the time, we use our will that is completely against the divine will. So there's a clash of wills. So right there's a friction. And God cannot impose His will upon our free will, because if He did that, then He is violating His own principle. He has a free will and He has given us all a free will. So we have to voluntarily turn towards Him. But since we are busy doing what we want and not what God wants, there is this friction. So how can God make us voluntarily turn towards Him? So in order to do that, He invoked the principle of suffering. The thinking is, you have your will to do what you want. I have my will to do what I want. In the clash of wills, we will both suffer. But since your capacity to bear the suffering is limited, whereas my capacity is limitless, when you have reached the limit of your suffering, you will voluntarily turn towards me. This is why He invoked the principle of suffering. So that when people have suffered enough, then they will turn towards the divine. And this principle is reflected in our behavior. When do we go to the doctor? When we are suffering. Otherwise we don't go. We keep on doing all the wrong things till our body breaks down, then we go to the doctor. So this is the principle, that suffering is because you will then turn towards God voluntarily, and He does not have to force you to do so. But through that process, His suffering is much more intense than the suffering of all of us.